I'll call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. Good evening and welcome to Lordsburg School Board's regular meeting of March 15th, 2021. Can we please stand for the pledges? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures. Thank you. Please note only the items on the agenda will be discussed this evening. May I get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So move, Madam Chair, I so move. This is Morelos.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Mr. Morelos?
Aye.
Mr. Barrera?
Aye.
Ms. Esquivel?
Aye.
And Mr. Gomez?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Okay. May I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes for February 15th, 2021?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion, Madam Chair. This is Morelos.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos and Mr. Gomez. Roll call, Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Reports, Dr. Lucas?
Any questions on the operations report that Ryan put out?
Dr. Lucas, I did have something.
Okay.
First of all, Ryan, I just really want to thank you for everything you have done and continue to do for our district. I've received a lot of compliments, especially the other morning that you put out all that information for parents out there and updating that website. So like I told you, I don't think we say enough, but we're very lucky to have you. So thank you. And my question was on the football field and baseball field covers. Have we had any feedback?
I reached out to AK Sales and they're trying to see if they can find somebody to make one. I don't know if it's something they can find readily available, so they're having a hard time finding one to quote us on. And AK is who puts turf down.
Okay.
But we're working on it. We are trying to get a quote.
Okay, and my reasoning behind it is just, the sooner that we could do that, maybe we could open our fields back to the community and be ready for the summer. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Okay. For the building reports, if you want to start with RVT, Adam.
Good evening, Dr. Lucas, President Cole. If it would please the board, I'll just keep it short and simple. Really what we're doing is just aligning our school. We're piloting the MLSS, and I've given you guys that report. And that's the multi-level student support system. But it also speaks to everything else that's under the rigor, the instructional council, the literacy plan, MLSS, SAT, 90-day plan, and pre-K. Getting all those systems aligned in our school is happening as we speak, and you see the teachers next to those titles. Those are the team leads, so we have some teacher leadership as well. We'll have a character counts with Ms. Mendoza. We're working close with Central Elementary to have vertical alignment, and then we're fortunate enough to have a collaboration with Texas Tech University. They'll be coming in the week after next to start assessing disalignment and some other things on campus. So that's under the rigor. You can see there everything we're doing and what those teachers will be responsible for. Responsibility COVID protocol. So we are forming a school cleanliness and readiness team to kind of go over the responsibilities of what the school is going to look like before students come in. We're looking to finish the year strong. We're looking forward to next year. We had an audit done, and one of the things that came up was a parent advisory council. The parents were wanting something where they could have a forum where they could get information or ask questions, and they wanted something more formal than what they have right now, or more formal than Facebook, I guess. So the relevance, we just want an informed learning community. All these things that we're doing at the elementary, the kids know what they're doing. Everybody's going to know from pre-K to fourth grade, teachers and students and parents alike. And then it's really going to help us focus on those college and career conversations that we had talked about earlier. Some of the teachers that started on those career days, and they seem to be working out really well. But now that we're getting back in person, it's going to be a lot easier to maybe even bring some people in. And for sure, we're going to have a career day, I think is going to be scheduled in May, either where the students can job shadow somebody, or we'll bring people in to talk to the whole school. So that's all I've got. Thank you, everybody. Do you have any questions at this point?
I just wanted to really say thanks for your efforts in getting Texas Tech out here, and I think that's going to be great for our teachers.
Thank you. They're looking forward to coming too, and hopefully you guys will get a chance to speak with them as well. Because you guys, our school board is very unique in the fact that you guys wear so many hats in the community, and then you're in the school. So you're a great wealth of knowledge and resource for any of us. So be looking forward to those contacts within the next week.
Thank you.
Dr. Amador, I really like the idea of having another PAC committee there and at RVT. I enjoyed it when it was there before, and I think it'll be a good asset.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Adam? Okay, Central and DTMS with Mr. A.
Good evening, Board President Cole, members of the board, Superintendent Lucas. I also wanted to start by offering my thanks to Ryan. He does a marvelous job for the school district, does very well. And so I just want to make sure that he's appreciated and that I just went dead.
No, we can still hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. It's
No,
not
you're good.
good on my end, but just wanted to say thank you. He does an awesome job for us, and he continues to work hard, works well with us at the schools. If you notice, I put my school goals there and just things I was thinking about as the year has continued, and just staying positive, staying focused, I think is, it's sometimes hard to do, but we're trying to do that as a school. And I think that's a great goal for us to continue being flexible and having resilience to this, because it's been a long, tenuous year. It's been very difficult, not only for kids and parents and families, but for staff. And so just striving for excellence and building a strong network amongst ourselves. And Dr. Amador talked a little bit about that. So we are working together, Central Elementary, DTMS and RVT, and we're focusing on that, and then also bringing that to the high school. So one of the things that we are working on with the help of Ryan and also the support of Dr. Lucas is a 21st Century grant that is in the planning stage right now. They're actually writing it, but it is focused on after school programs. It's STEAM. So we're focusing on technology, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. And I think it's so important for our kids. So we're going to continue to do that and work towards building a stronger after school program where not only our kids can get tutoring, but also they can get enrichment that is so necessary for our kids to improve and to gives them goals to work towards as far as post-secondary schooling. So we just want to make sure that they have that opportunity to work on bigger and better things as they move up through the schools. One of the things I do ask myself is, how do I improve on these goals? How can we continue to improve as a school? And then how can we, deliver the best instruction possible for our kids? And so that's one of the things we're working on. Again, with Dr. Amador, we're trying to finish strong and finish in a positive way. We do have kids in the school, and we've had as much as 29 kids in the school, and we have staff working. And so that's been ongoing since we were able to come back at a 1-to-5 ratio. And then in closing, just, when I wrote this, it says we're prepared to return in a hybrid model. And then they said we're coming back with all the kids. And so we're getting the school ready. We're ready to go. We're just waiting for that day. Staff will be coming in this week, getting and finishing their classrooms, and then just moving forward with the instruction. Any comments, questions, anything for me or for the school?
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. Almanzar and Mr. Amador, for joining us during your time off.
You're welcome.
Then Scott was not able to make it, so on his, he really wanted to emphasize to give a shout out to the cafeteria staff for all the work they've done. Because they've been here through thick and thin, and I think they've caught the brunt of the COVID quarantines and stuff like that. So they've really done a tremendous job, and he asked that we just give them a shout out on that. Any other questions on his report or anything that I can answer? Okay. The AD's report, same thing. Coach is not here. They've started or been practicing. They've been to a couple of games already. And if you have any questions on his report, right now, my understanding is Hidalgo went green. So like for spectators, indoor, I think is 25% indoor and 50% outdoor for spectators. So any questions on his report? Okay. And then on truancy, we had 225 contacts this month, which is up from last month, I believe, by quite a few. Hopefully when we're back in session, we'll be able to start making, house visits and stuff like that, and start taking a more active role in it, and hopefully that will come down. But 225 contacts for this month. Any questions on that?
No, I'm just hoping that maybe once the kids are back in school, these numbers will come down also.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so that's it on the reports. And there was no public forum.
Okay, so there's no public forum. Board of Education issues, Dr. Lucas?
Right, just a reminder, next Tuesday, March 23rd, we were gonna host that in person, but things still haven't cleared up, so it's gonna be another virtual meeting for the New Mexico School Boards Association spring meeting. It is from 5 to 7. The link is in your packet, and Joe Guillen also sent out an email. So if you need the link, call her and I'd be glad to send it to you again, but it is from 5 to 7 on March 23rd.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And I think it gives you 2 hours of credit toward your classes.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you could send it to me, I would appreciate it.
I sure will.
Okay, next item is consent agenda. Dr. Lucas, approval of accounts payable and payroll liability transactions.
Right. Any questions on any of the checks or the bills paid?
I don't have any.
Okay.
I have one, Dr. Lucas, if I
Okay.
may, Madam Chair. I see a lot of $50 and $25 payments. What's that all about, sir?
That is stipends for cell phone. We went, we used to provide cell phones and pay the surface. We just went to this stipend.
I had to ask. I had forgot about that.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. That's
Yes,
all I
sir.
got, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I get a motion to approve the accounts payable and payroll liability transactions? As
So moved,
presented.
Madam Chair. This is Morelos.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Roll call. Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Dr. Lucas, next item, approval of budget adjustments.
Yes, so I believe we have two today. First one is just a 40-day adjustment that Ted does. And it looks like it increased ours by about $5,984 into the different categories, supplies. But again, that was just a 40-day adjustment. We'll have a couple of more of those for the remainder of the year. We'll have the 80-day and the 120-day, I believe, as well.
Okay,
The next one, and we'll talk about it more, is the initial award for basically the second CARES grant. It's for $828,954, and that is just categorizing them into different budget categories. And that's all I have on that. We'll discuss it a little more on the next. I'll break it down kind of into where we have the monies put in our next discussion item.
okay. Is there any questions on those budget adjustments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget adjustments as presented.
Ms. Cole, I'll make that motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. May I get a second?
I'll second that motion. Esquivel.
Thank you, Mrs. Esquivel. Roll call. Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera.
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez.
Aye.
And myself, aye. Discussion items, Dr. Lucas, the URSA grant.
Yes, that is our second, and so we have, like I said, on the bar, we had 828,953. 439,000 of that is for technology upgrades, like to our wireless network, Chromebooks for students, laptops for teachers, headphones for staff and students. We have $10,000 for mental health counseling for students and staff. 50,000 for sanitation and cleaning supplies. 50,000 for portable HEPA filters. 113,549 for maintenance of staff levels. Should our budgets be decreased again, this will be able to go back in to help with salaries if needed. If not, it can be adjusted elsewhere. 105,000 for the touchless faucets and flush valves, new bottle fill water dispensers, and then 61,000 is indirect costs, which really will go into our operational fund. We have 2 years to spend this. Although, like with the technology upgrades and stuff like that, hopefully most of it will be spent soon, trying to get everything, by as much as we can by August. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Dr. Lucas.
Mm-hmm.
Action items, discussion and possible action on NMSBA scholarship nominations, Dr. Lucas.
So this, we're allowed to nominate a student every year. The deadline to turn the nomination in, and the student has to do some work on it as well, is April 21st. So that's so close to our deadline, we wouldn't have time. So does anyone have a nomination? I sent this out a couple of weeks ago. If any of y'all might have a nomination of a student that you would like to nominate for this. And then a senior student, and then we'll get the paperwork and I think they have to write an essay and there's paperwork and stuff, but it's for $1,000 scholarship. And if not, we can get with Scott and have the high school have a committee and recommend a student. And then I can send you the name of who they chose if you like. Any ideas or thoughts on that?
Madam Chair, if I may, this is Morelos. I would like to have some input from the principal from LHS, sir.
Okay,
Okay, that's just my opinion.
I'll get it. Yeah, and I can send you out the information next week.
Okay,
And then that's, you know, as long as we can get a, you know, a name back, we can get it. We still have it over a month.
I agree with Mr. Morelos.
Okay. So we can table it for today and then, or just, yeah, table it for today and then I'll get the names of some students to you next week.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next item is SLP OT RFP award. Dr. Lucas?
Right, so the OT services, we had one bid for $15,984, and we recommend that is the one we go with. Also, we had two bids for speech therapy services. One was for $922 with George, and the other one was $742 a day for some Risa therapy services. George has been with us for 13 years, and he's done a very good job. So that is our recommendation is George Burnett. But it is entirely the board's decision.
Ms. Cole, in my opinion, Mr. Burnett has done an amazing job for our district and Amplified Therapy, the services that they provide to our community and the surrounding areas. There's just so many great stuff about them. So I agree with Dr. Lucas's recommendation.
Okay, and I also noticed that on that second submission for speech language pathologist, it shows as unlicensed and then the process of
Right.
renewal. So
Right.
I think that's a big thing to look at there.
Yes, and if she's in the process of renewal, that means she's paid her fees and they're just reviewing her records too. But yes, I'm out.
Okay. If there aren't any other
Dr.
questions or, yes, sir.
I just want to make sure that we can't do a one-year deal, right, on this? Is it the 3 years still?
Well, the way it was written, we can do, I mean, it's George submitted a 3-year proposal, but we can do it 1 year at a time.
Okay.
Has it has been for a 3-year proposal?
He has been on 3 years, yes. They've been for 3 years is the way it's been, you know, the last one.
That's always been the process.
Looking at the
Right.
price point, and we're looking at 142 versus 115, about 30,000, 28,000 probably. So over 3 years, that's 80, north of 80,000.
Well, if it was 30,000, it'd be 120,000 over, or 90,000, sorry. On
Right. Well,
Yeah.
28,000.
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I would like to see the price point. I mean, I agree with all I hear is great things about Mr. Burnett. But I mean, $80,000 is $80,000 too.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I was maybe thinking a 1-year deal and then maybe going out for bid again. But it's completely up to. I mean, we're talking about the whole board's decision here, not just mine either. So.
Right. So we would need a motion to approve it.
So is there any other questions or comments regarding this matter? If not, I'll entertain a motion for the recommendation of proposal submitted for OT, Amplified Therapy, and SLP George Burnett as recommended to the board.
I'll make the motion, Ms. Cole.
Madam Chair, before I second that motion, we're talking the 3-year contract, right, for Mr. Burnett?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Morelos. Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay, next item on the agenda is school reopening, Dr. Lucas.
Right, and we just wanted to give you kind of where we are. We have, the high school has been inspected by the fire marshal. They passed with flying colors. The other 2 campuses will be inspected next week on our return back from spring break. We've got the MERV 13 filters in the high school, and if they haven't finished, they will be finished very soon, getting the MERV 13 air filters in the other campuses. Definitely will be installed by the time school starts. Also, we've had about, Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still about 50% of the students say they're going to stay remote, or has that changed?
You still have about 50% want to stay remote, correct?
Right. So depending upon the final number of those that stay in remote will dictate kind of how we do our remote. And as we get names and numbers, when we come back, we'll call and start getting everything set up for that. But we may have to do packets. It may be live streaming. It just depends on what we can accomplish at a particular campus with the age group of kids. The TAL, our union, is in the process of getting me revisions since everything changed, you know, at the last minute. So they're having to redo what they were wanting to renegotiate. But as long as we don't increase the workload on the teachers, so we have various things we have to look at to kind of determine how we're going to do and handle the remote situation. We have all our cleaning supplies, masks and everything being distributed to the campuses. We have met all the state requirements on that. We had a small grant for HEPA filters. And so Ryan has ordered the HEPA filters for the classrooms without real good ventilation, just as a precaution. And then when the CARES money actually kicks in, we're going to try to get the HEPA filters for every classroom. We have advised the teachers to please bring in a small fan to their classroom until they get the HEPA filters, just to create a little more air circulation. We're going to have 2 custodians at each campus. They will have to clean in the afternoons, sanitize after, so each day they'll have to go through and sanitize. We'll have the wipe downs. Teachers will have to help, wiping down desks and stuff like that. But we will have 2 custodians per campus. I don't think I've missed anything on that. Do y'all have any questions or anything that I didn't answer or anything like that?
Dr. Lucas, I did have some questions.
Sure.
Nicole, is that okay?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
So with the custodians, will they still be getting the formal training by our insurance company?
Right, Palms and Associates, they've already had it. We're going to try to get it rescheduled again, but they have had it. We'll do it again before. We should be able to get them before school actually starts.
Okay, and Ms. Cole, I had asked Dr. Lucas this. It's not, just times are different, and COVID cleaning and disinfecting it's just different on how often and stuff like that. So that was one of my questions. My second question is, have we figured out the IA situation for RVT and DTMS? Are we going to be able to not share IAs?
No, they'll still have to be shared. We just don't have the staff, and we don't really have the funds. We may be able to add a couple at DTMS, but that won't help RVT's situation any.
Yeah, so my concern, Ms. Cole, is RVT is our largest populated school, and just seems like sometimes we neglect them out there. And I know, budget and money, it's tough, but if there's any other possibilities that we could do, I would really appreciate it. And I guess I have one more question also regarding staff, Dr. Lucas. And
Okay.
so RVT has a secretary and a backup, correct? The same way that DTMS does. What about high school when we go, when we re-enter? Does Ms. Plowman have assistants out there that's separate from the principal, to be able to, properly operate, and if she was out, that there's somebody taking temperatures or whatever it is that
We
needs
can,
to
and we've got a software program that'll be available to parents and staff. We're actually not going to be taking temperatures and stuff as they come in. It's an app and they can do it themselves. And it'll basically be on the trust system. And if a teacher notices someone's sick, we have the isolation rooms and the nurse that will handle all that. But just after a lot of discussion with the nurse and everything, we've kind of looked at, and Ryan has looked at several different software little apps that can go on the smartphone, and they can say, whether they've been sick, been out of state. There's several questions on there they need to answer before they come to school.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just making sure that Ms. Plowman has the
Right, and we've got
there.
some backup for that if we need to. Yes.
Okay. And one more. I just have one
Sure.
more, and this is on the playground equipment for DTMS. Would any of that outdoor activity, were you able to find out if any of this could be covered through CARES?
Right. Yeah.
money?
No. Not the playground equipment.
Or obstacle, or the way that to get out there for some type of recreational activity. I think sometimes we forget that we still have little kids out there, 5th and 6th grade, and I'm sure that PE could really do something out there. So I didn't know if something was available through that money. I know
Right.
that in the past, me personally working with CARES funding, we have been able to purchase outside equipment, benches, canopies, different types of stuff. So I just didn't
Right.
know.
If that could be toward like an outdoor classroom, it might be possible. But I know the grant that was specifically for outdoor classrooms went away when they decided to open schools, because the state was trying to do outdoor classrooms. And that funding went away with the decision to open schools back.
Okay.
We
Thank
might
you.
be able to
That's all.
use some of that. So we have, the part of the CARES money is our discretion. We had the 61,000 that was indirect cost. We were going to use it to help shore up our budget. But if we have enough, we can use that for equipment. We can use that however we want to, because that is indirect cost, and we can use that however we want to.
Yeah, if you and Mr. Almanzar could really, I don't know, do some planning or something, Ms. Cole. It was an idea, and like I said, we still have young kids out there at DTMS, and we really need to look out for them.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So Dr. Lucas, you did touch on the quarantine rooms in case somebody does get sick, that each
Yes.
site does have
Yeah.
a quarantine room, and we do have a flow of how they'll be entering and exiting the
Yes.
facility,
Yes.
correctly?
Yes. And so with a full open, they did away with some of the restrictions. So now it's no longer 6 foot social distancing. It's as best you can. If you can do 6 foot, if not, it's the best that you can do with the full classroom. So they have on the full reentry, the green, it took away a lot of
The restrictions.
I'm not sure. I would like to keep 6 foot distances, but if everybody comes back, we're not going to be able to.
No, that's going to be impossible, especially
Right.
at RVT.
Right. Right, but we do have, like I said, we do have the isolation classrooms. We have the nurse, we have the PPE, you know, the gowns, the masks, the N95s, or KN95s, I should say, not N95s. For any staff that have to work and like be in an isolation room or something like that.
Okay. Other than that, I guess we have everything else in order and ready to start on April 5th, correct?
Well, it'll be April 6th.
April 6th, because we have that one holiday.
Right.
I had a couple of questions, Susie. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
How many, do you know a percentage of how many students could come in through, like, at least the high school, since it's been expected and passed? How many students, like the percentage?
Well, if 100% want to come back, 100% can come back.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's no
It's
limit,
fully
no
open.
restriction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, what about student supplies? I know it's like 2 weeks away. I know teachers are starting to plan or still planning, but are we gonna provide the student supplies, like any school supplies or?
No, ma'am. We'll get lists posted and students will be required to bring their school supplies as they always have. We do have some if some cannot get it. And we've been handing out supplies, you know, with lunches that we've had. But we were not planning on buying school supplies, you know, the basic necessities for the students.
And a lot of the teachers have been supplying supplies to the students throughout the school year while they've been remote. So, and I've seen this myself. So a lot of the kids have a lot of the stuff they need that they just need to pack in their bags and take with them.
Right. Yeah. And we're not going to allow them really to share. I mean, we can't, you know, so like in the past, we'd have communal Kleenex or something like that. Each student will have to have their own. We can't have them passing or sharing.
Okay.
Mr. Barrera, did you have something?
I'm sorry. And also,
I'm sorry.
You're
also,
good.
are we gonna send out any emails or flyers to those, like mail, to tell them like this is how it's gonna be to prepare their kids going back to school? Like what is each?
Yes, ma'am. We'll start doing on Facebook. We'll have the teachers start sending notices out. We'll do mail. We've got to email them, you know, a mass emailer. If we've got all the correct email addresses, we'll also email. But we will get the information out.
Okay, thank you.
That would be really good, Dr. Lucas, because a lot of people, as you know, some of us are really like into social media and stuff like that. But I think that there's also a lot of parents that either don't understand it or just not capable. And I know that some staff has also mentioned, you know, that sometimes they're the last to know about something, and I don't know how that works, but you know, sometimes they hear it on Facebook before they hear it themselves. So I think just opening those two ways of communication would really work.
Yeah, we always send staff emails. So I don't know where they would be getting, unless it's something not really that was not put out.
Okay.
Mr. Barrera?
Mine is just, and you might have touched on it, Dr. Lucas, so my apologies if so, but I just wanted to clear up because you were talking about the possibility of 50% still wanting to stay remote for elementary.
Right. So far by the surveys we've done, that's about the way it is for all, just for the total surveys, about 50%.
Is that just for elementary or is that for?
No, that's the whole district across the board.
Okay. So I was focused on elementary because I know one of the possible plans was to have one teacher virtual and one in class, right? Is that still a plan?
And if possible, I mean, that would be ideal, but it just depends, like I said, on the number breakdown when it actually, and hopefully we'll start getting an accurate count by calling and getting responses and know what class and what grade levels the students are.
Okay, beautiful. And that would only work for elementary school, right?
Right, because we have 2 teachers per grade level at least at the elementary. The others may have just like 1 teacher per subject, so there's no way to have a remote teacher and an on-site teacher.
Okay, yeah, just so the parents could know and
right.
Know exactly. So the other options would be packets for the other schools, right? If
right, packets, possibly, you know, a live stream possibly, but depending on bandwidth, you know, because if everybody wants, we can't have everybody doing it because we don't have enough bandwidth. That's one of the reasons we're getting the upgrades and stuff, is so we try to handle all the bandwidth.
Okay.
That the video conferencing requires.
Awesome.
Dr.
So
Lucas,
that,
how would we do it if to ensure, like, if we did have to do homework packets, just because in last year in the past we've seen that they were not so effective. How do we make students accountable and with such a short period of time, which would be 6 weeks or so?
Right. And packets are honestly a last resort. I'm hoping we can do it through video or some other means. But if we have to, I mean, it would just have to be on, you know, the teacher would have to follow up, the students would have to follow up. There'd have to be a lot of parent communication, you know, we don't have this packet from this day or whatever. Otherwise, you know, because like I said, I mean, when we did packets before, that's one reason we're doing it like we did now, because a lot of schools stayed with packets, but we did not have good luck with packets.
No.
Yes, I understand. And sir, would we have a deadline as to when we will, or when you guys will know, so we could start communicating this to the community?
Right. We should have a good number by the end of next week.
Okay.
We'll try to firm all numbers up by the end of next week.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lucas, you mentioned tall. I didn't pick up on it and everything that you said about tall. What was their concern?
No, it's just trying to keep the work level the same, you know, if because to have to do two different, I mean, it almost doubles their work when they have to do remote and in person.
Right.
Because they need two different lesson plans, to figure out how to reach two different audiences. So I just want to see what ideas they have, and the principals are with teachers too, to see what ideas the teachers have, to see what is the best way to proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Dr. Lucas, I'm so sorry,
Yes.
guys.
Yes, ma'am.
This Friday, I went to go see the girls play in Mascalero,
Uh-huh.
and they had a temperature scanning.
Uh-huh.
How are we gonna do that for our?
That's what you mean, for the games or for?
Yeah, for games. I think we should have them for at least the school entry. I know you guys said that you guys don't want to have or take temperatures,
Uh-huh.
but I think it should be a good idea to make sure like everyone is feeling good, at least, you know, to take the temperature.
Right, and that's what, and what we have probably, I think we probably have 20 or 30 of the infrared thermometers that can be, but it will create you know, if we have say 200 students coming in to take their temperature, we just felt it would be a pretty big, I mean, because the teacher can tell if a student's not feeling well, or but I mean, we can if the board wishes, but
Is there any way, I mean, I don't know if this defeats the purpose, but so I know, like, for example, at a different employer, every person would, like, that department, the department head would take the temperature for those employees. So I don't know if maybe every classroom could do that, just
and
to,
that's possible. I mean,
as a safe, I'd rather be safe. But I mean, it's something to look at, but I understand what you're saying. It would cause a huge line. And when do we actually start classes, you know, by the time that we take it? So I understand what you're saying. But maybe, and the reason I bring it up is because I know that maybe that would add, of course, it would add a workload, I guess, some work to the teachers. And
well, no, that's, I mean, I don't think there'd be any teacher that would say, oh, I don't want to do that. I mean,
okay. No, I just wanted
we just need to get the thermometers. I don't know if we have enough for every classroom right now, but we can sure get some ordered.
I think it's an idea.
We have enough for athletics. I mean, we can, you know, scan people as they're coming into the building.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I think our community has started doing a good job in taking care of themselves. But once we start opening sports, like Alyssa said, you know, there's people from all over the place coming, and it's just another safety precaution that it wouldn't hurt to look into.
Okay.
in my opinion, but
Yes.
whatever the board thinks.
Can we get a cost on how many thermometers? A price
I
on
would-
that?
Yes, they're around, I want to say about $35, $40 a piece. So we have, say, maybe, Ryan, do you know offhand how many classrooms are in the district? About 80, 60 to 80?
About 65.
65, yeah. So 40 times 65, I'll do the calculator. My math's not that good.
It's about $2,200
Yeah,
around there.
so
I think.
that's not that much. I mean, we can use that, that's in our supplies for CARES money. I mean, we can do that without a problem.
And then I had a question for Ryan, if it's possible, Ryan. Can you tell us how many employees got their vaccine, or is that
I think that falls under HIPAA. I don't know if we should,
like just a number or anything, or no?
I don't think they are required to tell us if they've gotten their vaccines.
And if I could jump in here, I think the temperature checks at the classroom kind of helps the teacher out in this regard if they didn't get the vaccine.
Right.
Just because it gives them an extra kind of set of precaution. Any kids that are there want to be there and they know that they're going to be, checked, but the teachers might not want to be there,
Right.
So that might kind of curb that issue a little bit. So I think the temperature checks going in the classroom would be kind of a good thing for this.
Yeah,
For this matter.
And while we can't really give a number, I think quite a few, probably a majority of our staff have gotten at least their first dose. I don't really have a number. I mean, it's not something we really ask, since we cannot require it yet. I mean, it's not something we can just suggest they get it, and if they tell us, they tell us, and if they don't, they don't.
Is there any more questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept that our schools will be opening in full capacity come April 6th.
I would like to add one more thing before we do that.
Yes, sir.
So teachers are coming in now, are able to come in now to get their classrooms ready and work on their classrooms. But I would like to, and it's been brought up by more than one campus, that they would like a day or two to have the teachers come in. So I was thinking, if it is okay with y'all, and to have on the Easter break, give the kids off that Wednesday, Thursday, so before we start back to school, so they'll be off Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, and then come back April 6th and require that Wednesday and Thursday as a work day for teachers to finalize setting up their rooms and everything else. Would anyone have any objections to that?
And all teachers have kind of expressed the same interest in this?
Yeah, there have been multiple campuses. I won't say all teachers. I mean, this has come from principals, so they requested the work time for their teachers. And they're coming in now and slowly getting them set up. But just the last 2 days, like normally at the beginning of school, we have a week for them to come in, set up their classroom, stuff like that. So just a day or two to do that and give the kids a little bit of break on Easter, and then
I wouldn't have an issue with it, Dr. Lucas. I think the teachers do deserve that time just to get organized, and they've been out of it for a while in doing the in-class learning. So I don't think it would be an issue, on my opinion.
Okay.
Same here, sir. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have an objection.
I agree too, Dr. Lucas.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
It's good for them.
Okay.
Yes.
Dr. Lucas, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Mr. Almanzar, not only for the teachers, but as principals, we need to have time to go over policies, procedures, everything's changed. And so we need to teach that to our staff, get them ready. As far as temperature checks go, we're doing them at DTMS, CES, and we have a plan for it. We'll do it outside before they come in. I don't want to give that responsibility to teachers. We've been doing it for months now, and so that's not an issue. It shouldn't take too long. And so just those 2 days are invaluable to us, because we need to meet with staff as well and just go over everything that needs to happen, different policies, different procedures, lunch, duty, all of that needs to be talked about. We need to teach that to the teachers so we're ready to go on the 6th. So I appreciate you allowing us to do that and giving us those 2 days. They're invaluable to our staff and to our schools.
Thank you.
With that being said, that would give the kids off the Wednesday and Thursday before for the Easter break. And
Right.
that would give our staff the time to start, therefore leading us to school on the 6th. If there's
Correct.
any other questions or if everyone agrees, may I get a motion to accept the reopening of Lordsburg School District on April 6th?
I make that motion, Madam Chair. This is Morelos.
Thank you, Mr. Morelos. May I get a second on that motion?
I'll second, Ms. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. Roll call, Mr. Morelos,
Aye.
Mr. Barrera,
Aye.
Mrs. Esquivel,
Aye.
Mr. Gomez,
Aye.
myself, aye. With all the business of the Lordsburg School Board having been taken care of, this meeting